Om Shanti. We will always be punished when we do something wrong. This is the universal law that applies to any human being in any corner of this world. The number one reason we suffer is because we try to snatch something away from somebody. If a person has the habit of stealing something from somebody, obviously he will be punished sooner or later. We find it common in many places that if a rich man finds his daughter in love with a poor guy, he will probably hire some rowdy group to threaten that guy or even to get that guy killed. Because if the poor guy marries his daughter, obviously he will be inheriting his wealth. He doesn't want that to happen because it is like stealing his property. Maybe that poor guy doesn't have an eye on his wealth, but still, what right does he have to prevent the rich man's daughter to inherit her wealth? So that is the reason he is being punished by her dad. There is no doubt that the greatest period in one's life must be his school times. But it would be the happiest period in his life only if he is able to protect himself from indulging in any love affairs. But if he indulges in a love affair, he will find himself being possessed by her thoughts completely, that he will have no idea that his school life is getting lost right in front of his eyes without enjoying it. Now he is stealing the happy school life of that girl as well as his. So they are punished by having to lose the happiness of their school days, and in addition they couldn't concentrate enough in the studies because their mind is so preoccupied with the thoughts of him or her. And the thoughts of jealousy kills them whenever they find their loved ones talking with the opposite gender. So you can enjoy school life to the fullest only as long as you don't find yourself in any kind of love affair. This proves very simply how you can enjoy life only if you free yourself from any kind of bondage of relationship. And this holds true throughout your life till your death. Just as kids are sent to school to enjoy school life, God also sends us to this earth to enjoy life to the fullest. In the beginning, He creates this world as heaven, filled with health, wealth, purity, prosperity, and everything that we need to stay happy forever. That was 5,000 years ago. So the world was heaven for the first 2,500 years, where we didn't find even a trace of anything that causes sorrow or pain. Everything you see here just gives you nothing but happiness. And you were blessed with a beautiful and healthy body to enjoy the world. And people were very beautiful, and they were with divine characters. And they remained happy throughout. And they lived in houses made of golden bricks. They were that rich. Despite that, the reason for them to stay happy was not the external wealth, but their inherent ability to stay detached from creating any sort of bondage with anything external to them. They feel so full within themselves because they were soul conscious. Soul is shining like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, which is why Hindus have this habit of wearing religious symbols in between the eyebrows. And they were naturally conscious of the fact that they were the soul that sees through the eyes, that listens through the ears, that speaks through the mouth, and that performs all the actions with the help of this body. This body is merely an instrument for the soul. Moreover, because of their constant soul consciousness, they felt happy constantly because the true nature of the soul itself is blissfulness and peacefulness. Since the soul is imperishable, the happiness that they derive by being soul conscious is also imperishable. That was the case for the first 2500 years when the world continues to be heaven. After that, this world becomes hell because from soul consciousness we become body conscious. We forget the fact that we are soul, so we no longer have this soul consciousness, because of which we no longer experience happiness from within. Instead, we look for happiness from the worldly attractions through sensual pleasures. Since everything in the world is capable of getting destroyed and liable to change, the happiness that we derive from them is very short lived. Though everybody in heaven were beautiful, they were not attracted to the external beauty. So they did not experience sorrow because they didn't engage in any love affair with anybody. Of course, there was a family, there was a husband and wife, and they would give birth by the power of thought, not through sex, because they were not even aware of what sex was. And that is the main reason they were able to stay happy throughout the first 2500 years. But in the last 2500 years, after becoming body conscious, they depend on the external things to derive happiness, and they want to make everything external to them that they believe will give happiness to be their own. But that will not happen. Everything will destroy after a certain time. Since he gets so attached to the person or a thing or even a fame, so when it gets separated from him, he is unable to um, tolerate that separation. So he undergoes heavy depression and he suffers a lot. Do you know what is the underlying reason for his suffering? It is because he wants to steal something from the world. See, God has created everything for us to enjoy, not for us to hold on to them forever. Our school life was very happy mainly because if we study in a 8th grade, obviously when we progress to the 9th grade, we will not be having all the students that we were friends with while we were at the 8th grade. Some of them may have moved to a different school and some of them have moved in to your school. So you would be getting new friends and you don't feel sorry for losing the old friends. You had good time with them and you know they are not yours. Of course, you derived happiness from them, but you are detached. So that is the reason you are able to enjoy your school life. But if you develop a love affair and the girl or guy involved leaves that school, then that is enough for you to give a huge heartbreak. Sometimes you will even end up taking your own life. And it is not because the girl or guy left the school, but it is because that you have developed emotional bonding to that person. So it is like stealing somebody's, and in this case the gods. So everything you see that gives you happiness is created by God. It is for you, but you can enjoy, but you can't hold on to them. So after studying the 8th grade, you will have maybe a different set of friends in the 9th grade if you happen to move to a new school. Anyway, you will stay happy. Who knows? You may be more happy in the 9th grade compared to that of the 8th grade. So you are always surrounded by people and things that gives you happiness. But the only reason you are not able to realize that is because you are emotionally attached to something or somebody, which is more like stealing it, stealing the God's property. And that is the reason you are being punished in the form of possessive thoughts. And after getting married and have a family of your own, it is your duty to take care of the family. Nonetheless, you need to stay detached. You have to take care of them, but you need to remind yourself that they are not yours. You are not supposed to be emotionally bonded to them. If you do, it is you who is going to suffer in the end. Because you may have to lose your spouse due to some problems, or even if that didn't happen, obviously you will have to lose them in the death. That will definitely happen. Even in heaven, we had family, but we didn't suffer because we were not attached to them. We loved them without expecting anything in return because we didn't consider them to be ours. So you remained free. You experience the happiness from every relationship without getting hurt. And the reason you derive more pain than happiness from any relationship is because you stay so attached to them. You consider them to be your own, which is nothing but stealing from God, and that is the reason you get hurt. If you imbibe deeply this habit of staying detached from everybody and everything, then your spouse will find him or herself very lucky because they are never threatened of you having affair with anybody. If you are having an illegal affair or extramarital affair with a person, you will always be liable to be punished by both law and the person affected by your illegal affair, because what you are basically doing is trying to snatch away someone's right over the person you are in affair with. The simplest and the easiest technique to always stay detached and to experience happiness forever is to consider everything you see, everybody you see, as belonging to God. If you consider your wife to be the daughter of God and not as your wife, you will have respect over her and you will not get attached to her. So you need to apply the same with your husband, with your son or daughter, your friend, or any relationship, and also anything. Then you will find yourself absolutely detached from everything. So in future, if something happened to them or anything that will not even affect you a little bit. For example, if your wife is having an illegal affair with somebody and you come to know of it, since you were not emotionally attached to her, that is not going to hurt you. See, she has taken a wrong path, so it is justifiable that she'll be punished, and she will be. But why should you get punished for something she did wrong? So it is not because she is having an affair that you get affected, but because you are attached to her emotionally that you get affected. And that is the reason God asks you to stay detached all the time. So by staying detached all the time, not only that you will never be affected by anything that happens around you, but also you will find yourself peaceful all the time, so that it is very easy for your mind to concentrate on anything, because you are absolutely free of any waste or negative thoughts. Because staying attached to anybody or anything is the root cause for all the negative and waste thoughts. So stay detached and be happy. And the God has come to this earth just 100 years before the destruction of this world. So he's right now in earth, and he gives this knowledge through an old man's body, and he names him Brahma, and the knowledge he gives through Brahma's mouth is called Murli, which is available absolutely free of cost in all Brahma Kumaris Raj Yoga meditation centers. You can find the direct teachings of God called Murli in many websites and YouTubes. You can Google it for yourself. It is called Murli, which is spelled Murli. By reading Murli daily, and by remembering God as a point of light, and by considering ourselves to be the soul that is entirely different from this body, you will slowly find yourself getting detached from everything you were previously attached to. So, as a consequence, you will find yourself more and more happy. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching. Stay happy and stay detached.